Football Manager is finally back. After being cancelled last year, a new edition is here to remove any sort of productivity from football fans for at least the next few weeks. As the SPFL is fully licensed, it gives opportunities for fans of lower league clubs the opportunity to manage their team, including the greatest league in the world, the Scottish Championship, making it immediately better than FIFA. Wait, it's called the AFC, isn't it? Anyway, having the 4 divisions means there's plenty of options, so in this video I want to go through some ideas for saves that I find interesting. Now, I should add that all the screenshots and figures being used are from the beta, as I'm trying to get this video done before I go on holiday. I doubt anything will change substantially, but if they have, then it is what it is. Starting off in the Premiership, we have Hearts. Hearts have become part of Tony Bloom's investment group, and as of the time of rating, are sitting top of the Premiership. Because of Bloom's investment, they have access to Jamestown Analytics, meaning they have a very data-driven approach to recruitment. Because of this, my challenge is that you can only sign players who appear through recruitment focuses or scouting recommendations. Thankfully, this task is made a bit easier as one of your affiliates is Brighton, so you have access to their scouting knowledge as well. Maybe you'll find the next Moises Caicedo playing in Ecuador, or a Shanklin regen from Fiji or something. Of course, the ultimate goal is to win the title within the next 10 years, as outlined by Tony Bloom. You start the season with a media prediction of 3rd, but rivals Hibs and Aberdeen aren't far behind. Budget-wise, you start with £250,000 for transfers with £6,000 a week left for wages, but your scouting budget is £235,000, with the scouting range set for UK and Ireland, which only costs £120,000, so you can play around with it a bit. Speaking of Scottish Cup winners Aberdeen, they are my second Premiership pick. Aberdeen were the last non-Old Firm side to win the league, and the last Scottish side to win a European trophy. Of course, both of these achievements last came under Sir Alex Ferguson, so the challenge is to replicate those feats, but I have decided to add a requirement to this. Fergie was known for using academy players, so for this save, you must have an academy graduate on the pitch at all times. Of the current squad, this includes Jack Milne and Dylan Lobban, but your under-19 squad has Mitchell Frame, Alfie Babbage, Lewis Carroll, Theo Simpson, Cooper Masson, Ryan Duncan and Finlay Marshall as high potential players, so you definitely have options for the future if you can nurture them. Aberdeen have good academy coaching, which you can improve, but excellent youth recruitment and great training facilities means you should have a solid conveyor belt of young talent coming through. For media predictions, you are predicted to finish 5th, and for budgets, you have 500k for transfers, 5k for wages, and 127k for scouting. The third and final Premiership inclusion is New Boys Falkirk. Falkirk have finally returned to the Premiership after 15 years, but have done so after back-to-back promotions from League One. For obvious reasons then, the media prediction is for them to finish bottom, so this is a simple case of keeping them up. From there, your next goal is to work towards winning a first Scottish Cup in nearly 70 years. The last triumph came in 1957, with 3 more finals in 1997, 2009 and 2015 all ending in defeat. Recruitment is going to be a real challenge in your attempt to stay up, as you start off with a transfer budget of £5,000 and no wage budget, and with only £40,000 in the scouting budget, it's not like there's much wiggle room there either. Moving down to the Championship now, where we have Queen's Park. Queen's Park were the big boys of Scottish football in the 19th century, mainly by virtue of being the first football club, and were able to win 10 Scottish Cups while being runners-up twice. Their staunch amateur stance until 2019, however, meant that they lost their grasp at the top and fell down to League 2. Since turning professional, however, they have made it back up to the Championship, and it's your goal to get the Spiders back to being top dogs in Scottish football. A media prediction of 8th doesn't sound great, but you do have 80k in a transfer budget and 1.5k in wages, so a couple of signings can be made. Unlike recent years, however, you don't have the advantage of playing in a 56,000 capacity Hampden Park. You are now at the City Stadium, or Lesser Hampden for those who don't like sponsored names. This stadium has a capacity of 2,000, but a used capacity of only 992, meaning the big paydays from visiting fans are now a thing of the past. Moving down to League 1 now, where we have old channel favourites Inverness Caledonian Thistle. Inverness start off this season on minus 5 points following last season's administration, but you are still given a media prediction of 2nd. The goal for this one then is to return to the top flight for the first time since 2017 and also win a 2nd Scottish Cup. You're given a transfer budget of 60k and a wage budget of £800, so you should be able to get a couple of signings that propel you up the league. There's plenty of young talent at the club as well, so doing a youth academy only challenge could be an option. I just wish it was possible in the editor to bring in similar policies to what Bilbao have and do a Highland only save. Down to League 2, where I have selected 3 clubs, with the first of these being Dumbarton. Dumbarton, like Inverness, went into administration, so start the season on -5 points. Instead of a local businessman taking over though, Mario Lapointe from Canada stepped in to save the club. Dumbarton in the early days were one of the top sides in Scotland with 2 league titles to their name, so of course the goal is to bring a title back to the Rock. The caveat with this though is that you must have a Canadian in the squad, and whilst there currently isn't one, Callum Ferguson is available, having been released by Clacknacullen. The slight issue with this challenge is you're not exactly blessed with a big budget. You don't have a transfer budget, and you only have £223 available in wages. A media prediction of 8th again isn't great either, but considering the circumstances, a year to rebuild after last season's shenanigans will probably be needed anyway. To another club with a points deduction, and we have Edinburgh City, who start with a 15-point deduction due to an administrator being called in over a debt that was paid the same day. Yeah, a bit harsh, but it's a pretty black and white rule. Anyway, City are obviously predicted to finish bottom, with by far the worst odds to win the league. Your goal then is to stay up by any means necessary, even if it's through the playoffs. Thankfully, you have a pretty good budget to make improvements with 2k in the transfer budget and £890 for wages. On the bright side, you also have a pretty young squad with plenty of potential, so you might want to build a squad around some of these players. If you do survive, then try and work yourselves up the leagues to become the big dogs in Edinburgh, usurping both Hearts and Hibs. My final inclusion for this list has to be SPFL New Boys East Kilbride. East Kilbride used to be the largest town without an SPFL side, and with a population of over 70,000, there's definitely potential to grow a significant fan base. The goal then is to work your way up the pyramid. You start off with a media prediction of 4th, but a transfer budget of £3,000 and a wage budget of £1,160 will surely be enough to build a title-winning team. So those are the base game saves that you can do, but of course expanded league databases will be out soon and allow you to take over some non-league sides. Of course, there's the former league sides Albion Rovers, Berwick, Brecon, Bonnyrigg, Cowdenbeath and East Stirlingshire, along with some sides who have history in the league set up, such as Clydebank and Vale of Leven. There's also the addition of women's football, and whilst the SWPL isn't in it, even though the Welsh League is in their second bottom of the UEFA coefficients, nice one SFA, there'll be plenty of options for you, but my pick of the bunch would have to be Glasgow City. Glasgow City have been dominant over the past 20 years, but increased investment from men's affiliated sides such as Celtic, Rangers, Hearts and Hibs has challenged that recently. I guess the goal for this one will be to try and stay ahead of them and keep your dominance going. That's all for this video, and of course I hope you enjoyed. What club will you be starting a save as? Let us know in the comments below. I was thinking about adding Hamilton to the list, but they don't have a points deduction in the beta. It might get added upon release, and whilst it could, in theory, add it if that does happen, I'm on holiday and the last thing I want to think about are Ackies. Anyway, liking, sharing and subscribing are all appreciated, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.